So we're in Mexico, and we decided to do something really crazy.
Like build a boat.
Build a boat, yeah. So normally this would be a really big project for anyone. But as we quickly discovered, doing this in a tiny little town in Baja, Mexico, with very limited resources, was going to be even more of a challenge. Last time on Adventure Adrift, we sailed through one heck of a rainstorm to get out to a beautiful anchorage, just so we could do some boat work. There, we spent a few days wrestling with how to fix our toilet on board, amongst a few other projects. In between the work, we enjoyed some beautiful hiking and a dinghy day trip. With our boat maintenance done, we sailed back to Puerto San Carlos to take on an even bigger project.
Hope you guys enjoy the video. For all the nitty-gritty stuff on the dinghy build, be sure to keep an eye out for a special series we'll put out on those.
Yeah, stay on the lookout for that, and remember to give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out. We found plans online.
We were able to download,
Yeah, we were able to download them, buy them online for, it's called the Fish Boat 11 by, I think it's Bateau Boats, Wooden Boats. So it's a wooden nesting dinghy. So it's two separate pieces that we can, just use one if we want, but bolt them together, and then it's like a 10 and a half foot dinghy.
Yeah, 10 and a half feet, but it breaks down into two pieces at about like 4 or 5 feet each, and they nest in each other so we can put it up on the deck and take up even less room with a bigger dinghy.
This is the first town that we visited since Ensenada that had a hardware store, which gave us hope that we could do this project. We went in to find out what supplies were available. Sí, sin medio para
Barote.
Sí. Although the selection was a bit limited, they were very friendly and helpful there, willing to deal with us trying to learn a whole bunch of construction and hardware-related words in Spanish.
So just that sheet.
With the beginnings of our supplies in hand, including a couple liters of rebottled resin, we headed back to Verona. And of course, we are still very thankful to have access to and from shore with the help of SV Larky's dinghy. So I'm just putting some clams in the sink here. I'm going to scrub them, some of the local clams that we got to steam up for dinner. Had them hanging off the back of the boat in this little bag. And at the bottom of the bag, I found all these little snails hanging out. I don't know if they're on the clams when we got them, or if they've crawled into the bag while it's been hanging off the back of the boat. This one guy wants to move around though. He keeps coming out of his shell. Our pets, we're gonna throw them free. Release them. The next day my dad arrived, and we are very excited to have him here. He is an expert carpenter and woodworker and had flown down just to help us out with the dinghy project. We went into the big city of Constitucion to assess what supplies were available there. While we were here, we had access to our first ATM since leaving Ensenada 3 months ago. However, it was a Sunday and both the lumber and hardware stores were closed. We did get to see one of the many organized marches that we had heard were happening all across Mexico. Across the country, a single gallon of gas now costs the equivalent of an average daily wage. And many of the citizens are discontent with their current government and its policies. With the hardware stores closed, we decided to do a bit of shopping at the big department store for ourselves. Here, we picked up a pressure cooker that we were planning to use to do some home canning on board Varuna.
Like that.
On Monday, it was back to the big city. Having a rental car to run these errands was a huge lifesaver. ¿Cómo hace?
Ah, con mariposa.
Mariposa, sí, sí.
Okay. ¿Todo inoxidable?
Sí.
Okay.
We started at the hardware store, where we were looking for stainless steel fasteners. After a bit of trying, we were able to translate and get most of the correct pieces.
Y 4 de este.
Okay.
28 de número 8, 1.5.
1.5. 28.
28, sí.
Over at the lumber shop, we went on a hunt for high-quality plywood and some 2x4s so we could set up a workspace.
340.
340? Okay. So, 340 pesos. I'm gonna get 3 or 4.
It's not easy to get.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, 4.
4.
Sí. With most of our materials gathered, we began to set up our workspace, which happened to be on top of the septic tank behind the security office on the dock. Although it didn't smell too great, the view wasn't too bad.
As we sit here on top of the septic tank,
Yep, that's our working platform.
Hillary's finishing up an ice block.
Got an ice cream pop.
So we have finally accurate measuring. We bought a baby bottle.
Baby bottle that has some millimeter.
Mils and ounces on there.
Yeah.
Because we're still trying to figure out our ratio. And the young Sheila at the pharmacy gave us a bunch of these little medicine cups, is what we found.
So now we can actually measure real measurements.
Una cucharadilla.
Cucharadita.
Cucharadita. It's blowing the wrong way.
Today happened to be a very special day for Ty.
Yeah. Happy Australia Day!
The family aboard SV Larky loves to celebrate holidays, and they were nice enough to throw Ty a special Australia Day party, complete with eucalyptus trees, Aussie beer, and music.
Putting ketchup in the
In the sauce.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't usually do that, but you can do that, yeah.
We even had homemade meat pies, lemingtons, and a didgeridoo.
That's it. That was close.
Back on the dock, our little boat was starting to take shape and actually look like a boat. Although, since it is a stitch and glue style, it looked a bit like a Frankenstein boat with all of the wires sticking out. Running low on resin, we headed over to the local Ponga building shop, which we had learned had the best resin in town. It was the end of the day and everyone had gone home, so we got to take a look around the workshop. In Mexico, these boats are the standard, and in these little fishing towns, having a ponga is like having a car in the US. So we have some desserts available today with our dinghy. Depends what time you arrive, what product we have. It starts out as jello, then it turns to the gummy bear stage, and now it's in the lollipop stage.
How many lollipops do you have in stock today?
Oh, I have quite a few. Some of them don't have very good handles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 lollipops. This one's kind of more of like a half-eaten one. And there's various handles. You can have the brush handle,
or the stick handle. While we worked, we got to watch some pretty nice wildlife. There were tons of birds near the shore, and we enjoyed watching this little guy hunt in the sand. We were also lucky enough to catch a glimpse of some kind of wildcat hunting on the beach. Although we had lots of hard work on our hands that was quickly stretching from a 1 week to a multi-week project, we did have a beautiful place to work in. This pier was constructed in the 1960s, and the town has grown around it ever since. This old tuna boat and several others were destroyed while tied to the dock in 2007 when a hurricane passed over. Luckily, most of the other boats traveled up into the mangroves, which we learned are a great hurricane hole. Back at the lumber shop, we were looking for a hardwood, and were lucky enough to find one single, lonely piece of teak that was left over from a special order someone had placed. All of the lumber here was roughly cut, but after we purchased it, they ran it through a planer to give us a smooth piece of wood. As we needed some very particular small-sized cuts of wood, we also asked to use their table saw. This was a huge help and saved us from trying to jerry-rig something for some very dicey little cuts back on the dock. As we headed back from a supply run to the big town, we stopped at a beautiful little cemetery on a hill overlooking San Carlos. There's something very quaint and charming about the cemeteries in Mexico. We love all the bright colors, flowers, and simple but beautiful and well-tended plots. It truly reminds me of a celebration of life.
Thanks so much to all you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up is really helpful.
Yeah, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the adventure.
And last but not least, a huge thanks to all our patrons. You guys are what make these videos possible. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you'd like to learn more about how you can support this channel, check out the links beside us here or down below.
See you next time.
Bye.